Mason Mount not there to replace Casemiro. Why is Casemiro even being thought of being sold by Manchester United? I've been waiting around from the morning show to find a report that says Casemiro is unlikely to leave Manchester United. They're all stacking up in favour of him actually leaving, but we've found one. I'm going to talk about that now and why it makes sense to just say Casemiro cannot leave Manchester United. God, what is everybody going on about right now? I can't get my head around it. We've got a few updates to get through. We're going to do a quick fire live show to keep you guys updated with everything that's actually going on. There are many other updates as well. Mason Mount's injury is one of them that's affecting Casemiro and why we should not be selling Casemiro. It's as simple as that, in my opinion. Well, guys, get your thoughts across. Get your comments in below. Please give the video a like. Let's get as many likes on the video as we possibly can, and obviously make sure that you guys are subscribing to Forever United TV to keep up to date with everything going on with Manchester United. Let's get through all of this as quick as possible. It has been doing the rounds throughout the morning, the Casemiro story, what's happening with Manchester United, why they might want to, as you can see obviously at the bottom of your screen, with Rob Dawson doing the latest one. Galatasaray are considering a move for Casemiro, but his salary would be problematic. A loan agreement is likely to hinge on whether United are willing to continue covering part of his salary. We said this morning. I was like, okay, like we've talked about it. We talked about how stupid it is to actually get rid of Casemiro, why it's the bad idea. And I'm still waiting around to find someone actually come out significant-wise and actually say that this is an actual bad idea for United to get rid of Casemiro. It's absolutely stupid to get rid of him right now. It really is. And I've found one, which has come from Alex Crook from TalkSport, saying it's unlikely that Manchester United will get rid of Casemiro. Why is everyone slow off the mark with this one today? You'd usually get Romano coming out already and saying that this is a no-go. Look, Casemiro is Manchester United's cover. It's as simple as that. Whether he forces the move or not, like we said this morning, Dan Ashworth has actually said, look, it only happens if the player wants to move and it works for us and works for them. It has to work for United. It's not going to work for United because Galatasaray can't afford his wages. It's not going to work for United because we need the squad depth. Ugarte can't play every single game. It's not going to work for United in so many ways. So now we're looking at actually being out of the transfer window, not being able to get a replacement in. United actually right now have to make a sensible decision with Casemiro and not let him go. It's as simple. People were saying this morning, Kune could come through. Obviously, you've got Collier, too young, too raw, and you don't want to throw him into the Lions' den. We've seen what happened with Collier at weekend against Liverpool. It isn't fair on these players. So let's not be throwing players under the bus because we just feel like we need to get rid of Casemiro. Yes, we should have probably got rid of Casemiro in the summer, but we needed to make sure we had a replacement lined up. Ugarte is in, but that just leaves Manchester United exactly where they were last season, but one player down. And that's without... Look, whether you like Scott McTominay or not, whether you like Casemiro or not, they are experienced bodies that can help Manchester United in situations this season. It's all right saying get rid of him, get them wages off the book. It doesn't work like that. You cannot just get rid of players like Casemiro because of a bad performance against Liverpool or poor performances last season. Look, he's not going to stay bad forever, and he will do more than anyone else you're even thinking about bringing in right now as a replacement, because there's no one, and there's no one within Manchester United's squad that can do a better job than what Casemiro can right now. It's as simple as that. You could have said Mason Mount could step into number 8 at least and help out there, maybe somehow. But Mason Mount just adds to the absolute craziness which is Manchester United's midfield. Honestly, like Manchester United, get this, their latest report from Manchester United on Mason Mount was less than a week ago, and it said Mason Mount has suffered a minor setback and will miss a few games. I calculate a few games as 7 minimum. We're not going to see Mason Mount until after the next international break. So we're not going to see Mason Mount for about 7 or 8 weeks as being able to start a game for Manchester United. Let that sink in again. Like Manchester United, I've got rid of Scott McTominay. We didn't bring back Amrabat. Yes, we brought in Ugarte, which is the best deal that we've made, I think, possibly. But still, we are shorter in midfield than we was last season right now. The whole season, again, is hinging on Manchester United keeping players fit and playing players for more games than what's necessary. Like, we cannot get rid of Casemiro. It is absolutely ridiculous. And, yeah, if a deal came in that he wanted to push away, United might be interested. I just don't see. Look, I said it then, like in part of Ashworth, the director of football at Manchester United, by the way, there's two parts to this. If the player wants to move, and it works for him and works for us, that's fine. It may work for Casemiro. He may go to Galatasaray, and it may work out for him okay. He may find his feet there, and that's great for him. But what about the club? What about the club? It doesn't work for United. It never will. Look, the problem that United have got is obviously we cannot keep a settled midfield. We don't know what our best midfield is. And until, like what Romano said this morning in terms of where everyone's judgment is regarding Ten Hag and whether to pull the plug at a certain point, they want to see the new players come in and see how they perform and see if Ten Hag can make something of them. Look, we need to see Ugarte and we need to see Yoro in. We need to get Rasmus Højlund back in up front and things like that. There's a lot more that can come from Manchester United, yeah. But the big thing that we're talking about right now, and the most important thing, is that United cannot leave themselves short again. And I do not want to see, I don't want to see Kune coming, I don't want to see Collier coming. It's not the right time and it's not the right circumstances to be throwing players like that, young players who need to be gradually brought through into this first team when they're playing well. It's not the right... Like, I know everyone will come back and say, well, Mainu came through last season and was a breath of fresh air and literally salvaged our season just like Garnacho as well. Yes, true. But it doesn't work with every single one of them. You can't just keep throwing young players in expecting them to hit the ground running. Well, look, I say it again, like Collier coming off that pitch and trying to replace the most experienced and decorated player in Manchester United's team after he had a stinker. It's a horrible situation to be in and it's not fair. It really isn't fair. Circumstances dictate, and I understand that, and we needed to bring Casemiro off for the sake of himself, really, because he was absolutely horrendous. But, again, like you can't get rid of Casemiro. We've lost Amrabat, we've lost McTominay, we've lost Mason Mount again. He is now not going to be seen until, middle of October, going into November time, so big crunch period. Like, yes, you cannot win where you need to be this season, but the games that Mason Mount is missing are hugely significant for Manchester United and Ten Hag in particular. And it is going to be incredibly difficult for him to try and win around... I say win around Ineos. He is obviously in favour with him at the moment, but still he needs to convince a lot of people that he's going in the right direction, Ten Hag. And he isn't at the moment. He's nowhere near going in the right direction. It's just a case of getting whoever's fit at the moment and getting him on the pitch. And I understand what Ten Hag said regarding Ugarte and bringing him through. Look, he's out training right now with Uruguay, and he will be playing for Uruguay probably in this next international break. The problem we've got right now at United is that we just haven't got the bodies in midfield. We've started up front and across the front line, got plenty of options, places, people fighting for place. In defence, believe it or not, we've got loads of options right now. But midfield is a massive, massive concern right now. We all said we needed 2 midfielders in. We haven't got it, and we are looking very, very short. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Unfortunately, we are just in a tight spot right now in midfield, and we cannot be letting go of Casemiro. That is it. There's nothing more to say on it. We can't get rid of him. You got Rose with a super chat that says, football is crazy. Crazy, man. Did you ever think 2 or 3 months ago that you could be correctly arguing for keeping Casemiro at the club? No. It does. It works weirdly, doesn't it, football world? It really does. And I didn't see it coming. No, I didn't. Matt Lambridge with the super chat. Cheers, Mac. Adam Casemiro staying doesn't sell stories. It's simple. But still, Galatasaray are actually communicating with United. So if it's a story, it's a story. It's still going to sell pages. You're right on that, mate. But the story is genuine. It's real. Casemiro may actually feel like he belongs elsewhere. I said it in the earlier show earlier on. Does Casemiro want to end his career sitting on the bench behind Ugarte, or does he feel like he can be playing more games in a less sort of ferocious league than what the Premier League is? We will see, won't we? We will see. I just don't see how United continue this season if we let Casemiro go. I really don't. I don't see it. By the way, Ruud van Nistelrooy is the favourite for Ten Hag at the bookies at the moment, if he is going to be replaced. Just so you're up to date with that one. Alan Shearer says that Marcus Rashford has to leave Manchester United. His career is going down a blind alley right now, and that is... he needs to change. That's all he's saying. He needs to change. But still, we're not going to... Well, Eric Ten Hag is in situ. Marcus Rashford's obviously going nowhere as well. But yeah, it's a tough one. It is, because we're right off the back. We've got 2 weeks to talk about certain decisions that have been made after a poor defeat against Liverpool, and United fans are completely they're arguing with each other all over the place as to what is right and what's wrong right now with the club. Unfortunately for us, we just came up short in what was a good window, and Casemiro not working out has backfired on Manchester United, but nobody wanted him. It's like Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail. He said today that the Casemiro got snubbed by the Saudi Pro League. People are actually seeing what we've got right now. Like, he isn't a first-team player for Manchester United. A starter, that is. I don't think he's a starter right now. I don't think he can start games. And I think the realisation is that pre-season is fine. Pre-season looks great. But when the intensity of the Premier League starts, Casemiro's been found wanting. But he can still do a job for us off the bench. I think the only reason that the story's going around is because of Casemiro, and maybe what his wife said and what his wife posted, and then what actually has been said in the papers and in all of the tabloids over the last couple of days regarding Galatasaray. Simply, they've just taken an opportunity right now and just testing the water, and it's up to United whether or not they bite or not. They can't, surely. They really can't. We have to be very careful about where we play Casemiro because his legs are gone. We need the cover roster-wise, but he does not help us. It is an awkward situation, isn't it? It really is. Eric Ten Hag wants a payout for the way Ineos interviewed managers during his summer. I don't think it's that bad. He will get a payout either way. It's funny, from a coaching view, I don't see the goals we conceded as Casemiro's fault on Sunday. Yes, he gave the ball away, same as Mainu, but where was the left-back? He was holding Rashford's hand. Yep, exactly. A lot of people have been saying that. Where was we? Like, we lost the ball in possession. That happens in football, doesn't it? You lose the ball, and you've got to cover that. Like, City lost the ball umpteen times in their game against West Ham. But they recovered. They're quickly back in position. United, I just thought, it's the coaching, isn't it? It's the coaching. And I just look at Casemiro and I go, you know what? He's at the end of his career. He does understand the game. He does. But I think he's trying to do too much. He's trying to cover too many players and too many flaws within our game and within our team. I think he thinks he can do more, but he can't. He can't. He's just not got it in him anymore. And we're going to concede chances with him in midfield, especially in that holding midfield role on his own, which he complained about. But the biggest concern of this is right now, it isn't the fact that we're looking to move Casemiro on, because that's the right move. The problem we've got is that we are now looking at not being able to replace Casemiro, and we're stuck with him. We all knew we had too much to do in the summer. There were other players there, but we're just praying that Manuel Ugarte can play 40 games plus this season. That's what we're putting our hopes on right now. And maybe Casemiro can cover him on the odd game here and there. But still, Manchester United are lacking in so many different areas on the pitch in that midfield. It's ridiculous. Like, everyone's debating whether Bruno Fernandes is the right player to play at 10. Who else plays there if he doesn't? Does Xerxes come in or Ahmad come in? Because like I said, Mason Mount now is out for a long period again. And number 8, does Kobbie Mainoo need a rest? Kobbie Mainoo's best position is actually in that number 10. How many number 10s can you have in one squad? It's so imbalanced, the midfield at United, that Casemiro, I feel, just as the senior figure within the squad, feels like he should be doing too many different players' jobs right now. And I think it's taken away his game. I think he can't concentrate solely on his game and what he has to do himself. And he's trying to do too much. Bruno playing as a striker since his new contract. He's trying too hard. We are a joke. Bloody Mainu can't play 10. Yeah, he can. That's where he played in the youth system. That's his natural position. Ugarte will need to be able to do the job of 2 men when he plays, same as Casemiro is expected to at the moment, says Jenna. This is the system that Ten Hag is playing, and like, he is running the risk of running players into the ground. He really is. We're just getting it all the time. It's like, right now I'm scared about players actually in training. I understand and I love the fact that Rasmus Højlund is trying to get back and get back as quick as possible. But it just always seems to be with United that it's a desperate attempt to try and get back fit. We're doing more and we're overtraining and trying to get back as quick as possible. I understand that's fantastic, and the will to actually get back in that team is brilliant, and it's the right attitude to have. But sometimes you need staff and coaches in place to actually just say, whoa, slow down. Let's make sure that you're recovering the right way and make sure that we're actually get you back for a sustained period of time. It's a long season to go. And yes, we're falling a little bit behind, but we should have more than enough to deal with not having Rasmus Højlund in the team at the moment. We do need him back, I understand that, but don't overcook him. I don't expect him to be playing against Southampton. Possibly integrate him back, maybe off the bench against Barnsley or whatever, or maybe even the weekend after against Crystal Palace. Don't be rushing players back. We cannot afford to be losing any more players at Manchester United, especially to injury with the situation we're in right now. And it is down to the club, the medical team, Ten Hag, the coaches, to make sure that they look after these players. Another super chat in from Mark. Thank you, mate. If Casemiro was English, he wouldn't get as much hate. I think if he was English, he'd probably get more hate, to be honest, mate. I think he would. Obviously, you talk about English bias and stuff like that all of the time, but I do believe like some of the English players do get a bad rap as well from the media. And it is a pylon a lot of the time, simply because we big them up to something they're not. But let's not forget, Casemiro has always got in his corner what he has won and where he has been. And that will always back him up. And I think sometimes that actually is enough for the media to actually go in on him and actually hit him hard. In terms of like, Casemiro really is in a position where he's won everything. Why is he not succeeding at United? Let's all pile in on him. That's how it feels at time. He's an easy target, I think. Hi Adam, it looks like we are going to have to go down the free transfer route. I know Ten Hag may have till Christmas, but that is too dangerous. For me, he should get until mid-October. Do you agree? That's from Mr Adam Stott. If we haven't won the games, let's just quickly look in the next group of fixtures. Manchester United have got 5 Premier League games and 2 Europa League games and a League Cup game in between as well. The Premier League games scared the living shit out of me, honestly. Our record at Southampton isn't great. Our record at Palace is atrocious. We should beat Spurs, but then again, they could turn up at any point. And they battered Newcastle the other day, and they've had a good start to the season, Spurs. They've just not been hitting the goals. So we've got Southampton, then we've got Barnsley, we've got Crystal Palace, then we've got FC 20 in the Europa League. Then it's Spurs at home, followed by Porto away, followed by before the international break, and it always falls on the international break, doesn't it? Before we go away, a tough game, Villa away. Now, the pressure will be on. How many points can we get from them, from the possible 12 that are on offer there? Southampton, Palace, Spurs and Villa are 4 games after this international break before we go back on another international break. So 7 games. He has to beat FC 20 at home. Porto, I'm scared. Villa, I'm scared. Spurs, I'm obviously scared. Palace, I'm scared. Southampton, I think is the one where United, I'm actually convinced United should really get 3 points. But how am I thinking that way? Why am I thinking that way? Look, players coming back are definitely going to help. You could bring Ugarte and Luke Shaw into that fold there at some point. It's going to help Manchester United out. But the pressure really is on because them players are coming back and Ten Hag still has to find a way of making this work. There's no excuses now regarding injuries. He's got so many players coming back. So this is what we're at. This is where we're at right now. And I think United need to have a good spell. Ten Hag needs a good spell right now. And you know what? I would love it if Casemiro came through in these next few games and absolutely smashed it for United and then put everyone back in their place, including myself, because I just don't see how he starts games. But this is where we're at. We didn't have enough time to deal with what we needed to in the transfer window. We were always struggling with the window. And I just feel like Ten Hag needs to find something. Now, it's time. It is time that the players that are at the team and in the squad right now, we need to actually find something within the players that we've got. And I hope it is when Ugarte comes in. And it does turn out to be a great signing from Ten Hag and Ineos combined. We're not saying that one person bought him. Ten Hag agreed to sign Manuel Ugarte, having been convinced by Ineos. This would be the perfect scenario because it looks like a structure has worked, where a problem that we've had before with Casemiro coming in when we really shouldn't have bought him, we should have got someone else at the right price, but the recruitment team and the structure at United was crap at the time and we panic bought into Casemiro and overpaid. How about 2 years down the line when that player's now looking like he was the mistake that Sir Jim Radcliffe was mentioning and talking about? Is turned around by bringing a Ugarte in that was bought by the structure and agreed with Ten Hag is the right man to fit how Ten Hag wants to play. If Ugarte works, it starts to clear up loads of problems and that light at the end of the tunnel becomes a bit brighter for Erik Ten Hag. That's what needs to happen. And that's what he's praying happens right now. And everyone at United is the same. They're all praying for it to happen because we need Ugarte to play well. We need him. Like, the pressure is on. He isn't going to fix absolutely everything that's going on at this football club right now. He's nowhere near going to be enough. But he is also going to help. If it works out, he's going to help Ten Hag take a massive step in the right direction, I feel. And that's what we need to look at. And that is what is important in all of this. That pretty much is your roundup, everybody. A quick fire live show to keep you up to date. I will be back with the full live show later on this evening. As always, a fully interactive show. Just want to say a massive thank you again to everyone. All of the mods, the super chats and everything that have been in. All of your comments. Thank you, everyone. I'm not going to run it too long because we've talked and covered absolutely everything. We'll go into more depth later on with the evening show and everything that's going on there with United. I'm sure we'll obviously get some more updates and we'll get clarity on Casemiro not leaving the football club. I'm pretty certain we will. But get your comments in below. Are we making sense? Does everything hinge on Ugarte actually hitting the ground running? Let's see. Thank you, everybody. Absolutely loved it. Have a good day. I will speak to you all later on this evening. And, yeah, hopefully we got some better news then.